Right. I'm live, everyone. I know you didn't think this would happen again, but here I am. And it's going to happen more. I can promise you that. It will. Things have clearly been very busy lately. I can't get into everything, but I'll spill a little bit more probably next week or so on some of the stuff I've been up to. But a lot of it has just been life. I have 3 kids, and that gets busy for sure. So we're going to see if some people get in here. I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to share this as well so that we can get more people here. We'll get it warmed up. There we go. There's a live stream. And I'm going to post this out on Twitter so people know. I'm pretty sure that I've bottomed out. Is that what they call it? When I've done such a terrible job with posting videos that YouTube just scrapped everything. I have to start over. Maybe that's what this is. I'm going to say, I'm live. I tweet that out on my own channel. Been live on other people's channels, actually, twice a week, I think, for a while, a good strong while. But that doesn't matter right now. All that matters is Aloise Doddles. Thank you for being here. Hello, all. Hello, happy Thursday, March 3rd. Hope your day is going well. So far, it's been very well. It has been going well, actually. You probably don't notice this, but I've been getting stuff in order in this office of mine. It still looks a bit of a mess, but this table over here is actually half the size. I got a skinny table that I can put books on, and that's where I ship things from. And more to come. It should be good. Roland says, this is the point. I don't follow others, so it doesn't count. You're right. That is why it's important to be here. Everywhere else, it's fine, but it doesn't matter. This is what matters. So I appreciate you being here. All 3 of you so far. I actually do have content for this stream. It's probably not gonna be terribly long. I'm not gonna do a big long stream, but I've got some stuff to go over. And I think first off, I want to talk about Fatal because I did post an update today and I got a slew of comments and questions about Fatal. So I do want to talk about Fatal. But I'm afraid as soon as I talk about Fatal, I'm going to get more people in here and everyone else is going to ask about Fatal. So I'm going to just plan on doing it twice. So we'll do that. So here we go. Let me share my screen. I don't know if I'll need audio at all, but I'll just share it anyway. Screen 2. All right. So we're looking at Fatal right now. And something to note here is that we keep hovering somewhere around $200 before hitting 100K. We've been hovering around that for a while now. Some backers have come, and every time I do an update, let's go to the update section. Every time I do an update, I get questions. It's just because, people are hearing about the campaign. And so I also get a slew of refunds every time. And it's not constant, it's not every day, but it's when updates. Because I think what the update they're hoping for is that the book's finished and it's shipping. That's what people are hoping for. Trust me, I cannot wait to put that update out there and to ship the books out. It'll be fantastic. However, I do have to say this. I think I was fairly positive on this, but I get it. It's not finished. But I gotta say about Fatal, this project was one of those projects that we genuinely needed crowdfunding, not as a sales tool, but as a model to fund the project. And so I realized that comic books, however long they are, you would think they could be done in a certain amount of time. This is one of those projects I really do think is very special. I think it's one of a kind. I don't think there's a project quite like this. And meaning having somebody like Charlie Snogans drawing it is amazing. It really is a one of a kind sort of project for a few other reasons as well. But we really did need the funding in order to produce this book. It wasn't one of those things, for example, like Dracula. I was able to finance that ahead of time. I'm not going to get into how I financed it, but I can tell you it had literally nothing to do with Fatal financing in order to get it paid for. And the goal is to pay for books ahead of time so that I can just ship them out, and it reduces the waiting time, and it reduces the stress on me. Um, I'm pretty sure the reason why I'm bald right now is because of because of this book. Um, so I'm hoping that maybe my hair will all grow back when I ship this out. Um, but I have to tell you though that Charlie is working on it. I am working on it, and the pages. This is just half a page I'm showing ish, 2/3 of a page maybe. The whole thing is beautiful. There's another page too. Charlie showed me a work in progress. It's not finished, that he was working on over the weekend. It looks amazing. It's fantastic, and there's even some Easter eggs in it that are pretty fun. So progress is happening, but know that if you backed this and if you're being patient for it, we really appreciate the patience, but also backing it ahead of time. That money is absolutely being used to produce the book. And so, and I can guarantee you would not be able to produce this book otherwise. So, anyway, so I'm very happy with everybody that has supported it, and of course those of you that are patient. And if you're not patient too, I'm still appreciative of you. I understand that, but I want you to know that this is this absolutely is my priority, and absolutely is Charlie's priority. We also have to feed our families too, because this none of this money is going to feeding our families. It is going to producing Fatal. So anyway, I have to say that, but it is progress is being made, and we're still working on it. You have not been forgotten. Um, all right, Paul Riley is here. Hey, Clint. Roland says, would Fat L have fared better if other campaigns launched before to help offset the initial production costs like Zach did with the Expendables? I got to think about that one for a minute. So if I had launched a different book ahead of time in order to finance it, is that what you mean? Um, I'm not sure. I mean, when it comes to this, every one of these, not well, I don't know. Most of these books are joint ventures. Many books are, and so depending on the creative team that you're working with, um, financing could come from wherever. So, for example, if I am financing like Dracula, I have financed it. I'm not going to get into details without crowdfunding, 100% without crowdfunding. Okay. And so I have shouldered the risk on that, as far as financially, Dracula goes. And so because I was able to do that, I had a lot more freedom to, you know, pass deadlines up, well, whatever else happens, all of that's happening behind the scenes, and nobody's waiting for the book. And so by the time Dracula's finished and I'm able to launch a campaign and ship it out, it's going to seem like a walk in the park to everyone else because we're going to get everything done. I'm even considering getting the printing done first, taking it that far. Um, when it comes to Fatal, that model just doesn't make sense with Fatal. And so would it have fared better if other campaigns launched before to help offset the initial print costs, like Zach did with the Expendables? Um, Maybe, I guess, if I could have earned, basically is what I'm saying, if I could have earned enough money to finance it myself, possibly, but I'm don't think I would have been able to do another project that would have been able to finance it, if that makes sense. I don't know. It seems difficult to explain, but it's an expensive book to make. But at the same time, the reason why it is such a good book is because one of the reasons is because it's so expensive to produce. And so, it is a bit of a trade-off, but that is what crowdfunding is for in essence. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense. Um, all still though, fantastic book. I 100% believe when I tell you that it's going to be worth the wait. I think you're going to have a lot of fun reading it, and yeah, it'll be fun. So uh, anyway, Roland says, "Is your Dracula going to have a going to mysteriously die in a cell like his inspiration, Mr. Epstein?" I don't think I can say anything, but there's going to be mystery and there's going to be death question mark involved. So that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil too much. It also feels bad. Like I would love to be posting more Dracula art, and there is more Dracula art to be posted. But I don't know, it just feels bad to be posting stuff or promoting Dracula when we're still working on Fatal. Um, I'll be honest, I don't understand how some of the other bigger creators can do it and launch multiple campaigns when other ones are late or whatever. It stresses me out so much, and I hear about it. I know other campaigners do as well. I don't understand that, but anyway, uh, Mr. Von Stugel is here. Hello, nice wave. Roland says Dracula was murdered. Yeah, it'll be fun. I think Dracula. It's going to be a super fun project. Love the stylized artwork. Again, I'm not. This is really just one image that I've really shown. I've shown a few things. The Kelsey Shannon piece is out there a little bit if you've been following live streams, which is fantastic. But I'm going to lean into this. But we're going to wait. We're not in a hurry. We're going to make sure that the book's done and it'll be ready to go. I think it'll be a good project. All right. So I called this stream Don't Call Me Pocahontas because I actually do have a story to go over like I would in a normal video. I'm specifically not inviting guests on only because I want to control the length of this live stream. Uh, but rest assured, I love streaming with everybody I've streamed with. I mean, people are fantastic. I just want to keep this one neat and tidy. That's the plan. Dracula knew too much. The other thing too is with Dracula, there's so many directions you could go because that was part of the difficulty is I kept going down a certain road with Dracula and then I would stop and think, oh, but what if Dracula was about this? And then I would totally change the story concept, like in some cases completely. So that was fun. And since like it's been in production and I settled on the script, as to like this is the script, this is it. I've still thought of other takes that again would be a totally different take. But he is a super fun character because of that, because there's so many different angles you can take. All right, so speaking of characters, there's a picture here that will make me blush. So for the faint of heart, we will gloss through that. Totally kidding. Anyway, but Jason Aaron apologizes for Pocahontas' slight. What? And he donates Conan payments. What is happening? Surely when you read that headline, Jason Aaron was he pulling a Donald Trump and calling somebody Pocahontas? Could that possibly be what was happening? Let's find out. It's not exactly. It is almost more ridiculous. Not almost. It is far more ridiculous than I even imagined it could be. So early today, Bleeding Cool reported social media upset. Any given day, by the way, I'm going to pause here. Any given day, you could report social media upset. That's how social media works. Anyway, over the recent publication of King Conan #3 from Marvel Comics by writer Jason Aaron, I'm not going to go through the whole creative team. We don't need to. The story featured Princess Matakoa. I don't even know how to say her name. And that we're going to stop there too. That's not an offensive name, but Pocahontas is. Okay, so there's a story that seems awfully familiar because it seems like the Pocahontas story. The problem is that so many people believe that the Disney version of Pocahontas is accurate to real life, and that is, like that's the Bible. that is exactly how it played out, and everybody's going to stick to that version religiously, even though it is racist and terrible because Disney made it at the time. Even though Disney's super woke right now, try to keep up. Pocahontas is racist, even though Pocahontas was a real person and her actual real to life story was different in quite, wide ranging ways than the Disney story was. So at face value, imagine this: you're a writer and you were inspired by Pocahontas and you decide, I'm going to tell a story that's Pocahontas but with Conan. That's what I'm going to do. Is there anything wrong with that? First off, the answer is no, there is absolutely not. That's how stories work. Make it different enough to be interesting. Make it so that nobody really catches what it is, or maybe it's really on the nose, like I think this is. In any case, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, you can take stories and go again. We just talked about Dracula. How many different angles I could take with Dracula? There's so many. Take a new angle with Pocahontas, the Disney version. Sure, why not? So in this case, apparently behind the scenes, let's see. Let's see. So they featured the princess Matoaka. That's got to be how I pronounce that is what is offenses. It's an American native daughter of a mystical chief who falls in love with a Western colonizer before later trying to seduce Conan. With this character being the private name that was the very real Pocahontas went by. So this is what happened. The real Pocahontas privately, that was like we've doxed Pocahontas basically is what has happened here. Pocahontas's real name was Matoaka. We're going to go with that. Matoaka. All right, that was Pocahontas's real name. And so in this case, because they used that name instead of Pocahontas to not be too on the nose, hit the nail right on the head, it was actually more offensive. So he could have made up a name, or he could have just called her Pocahontas. And would people have been that upset? I don't know. So why can you not tell a story with a actual character's name? You have to go by the Disney version. I don't know. It's a fantasy. This is made up. Who cares? Was Conan a real person? Why does any of this matters? So there's considerable disquiet expressed by indigenous American comic book readers on social media in the recent days at the use of the character in this fashion. Bleeding Cool detailed issues within the comic, and they had problems with it. Here's the one that made me blush. Though they shared no common language, she came to trust him enough that she showed him the way to the most sacred treasure she knew, her own. Oh my. So you get like the Pocahontas story, right? Okay, so from here, this is offensive only because of the name. That is it. It wasn't offensive, though. This is what surprises me. The storyline, like it was supposed to be hidden. Why is that? I don't understand. Here we go. Singing with the colors of the wind was clearly accurate for Pocahontas. Clearly, obviously, the Hyborian names of certain people in regions are at best stereotypical and borderline racist at worst. Yeah, I mean, I'll take your name for it. I miss Clint's hat. I had a hat on yesterday. I honestly cannot find my baseball hat. I don't know where it went. So I've been wearing a beanie, and I actually just ordered a new hat today. So you're stuck with me for a little while. Good to see you in the chat, Leroy. I appreciate it. But Robert E. Howard wrote of the Conan books before the 40s, and people didn't know better. So I'll be honest, I'm not a big Conan fan, but was this character in existence before? I'm not sure. I'm just curious. Hi, Leroy. All right, everyone's saying hello. Anyway, so silly. So what this came down to is that Jason Aaron donated the money because somebody was mad. So that's the way to make things better, except it doesn't really make things better. It's basically an offering you put on the altar. They don't need to forgive you. It doesn't matter. They're going to be upset anyway. You're going to donate it so you don't feel so bad, even though you didn't feel bad in the first place. Like, why is it? So we got to get to this apology. Where is it here? This new character is a supernatural 1,000-year-old princess of a cursed island within a world of Pashit and dark fantasy, and was never intended to be based on anyone from history. And even if she was, who cares? I'm adding this. Who cares? Again, Dracula was based off the Vlad the Impaler. Is that offensive? And if it's not offensive, why? And why not? I don't understand. He continues, I should have better understood the name's true meaning and resonance and recognized it wasn't appropriate to use it. Why? Why was it not appropriate to use it? Do do only white characters need to be retold in stories? Like white people from history? That's weird. Isn't that kind of racist? This is strange. I understand the outrage expressed by those who hold the true Matoka's legacy, dear, and for all of this and the distress it caused, I apologize. As part of that apology, I've already taken what I was paid for the issue and donated it to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center. The character's name and appearance will be adjusted for the rest of the miniseries and in all digital collected editions. So they're going to change the appearance. Do we know what Pocahontas looked like? I'm going to guess not like this, but I don't know how you change it like that. That would make it not offensive then. And then what is her name going to be? Just Pocahontas? You could do that, I guess. Disney did it. Why can't you do it? Disney owns the company now, so it should be, it should be clear. Free reign, I suppose. I don't know what this is. I recently found a hilarious article exhibiting the dichotomy between what actual Comanche thought of Johnny Depp as Tonto and outraged native bloggers. They're not always the same. In fact, they're often very different. It's kind of amazing. I always think that really what you've made is college students upset or college professors or both. They can be upset, and literally nobody else is. I don't get it. Jason should take crying lessons from Rob to use for apologies. Rob's Broken Dripper. I've not seen this account before. I don't know who it is, but I'll have to ask Rob about the crying. That's pretty good. All right. Anyway, so pretty ridiculous. This is the thing is I started thinking about making videos, and I think, aren't I just gonna say this exact same things I've been saying? And I go over to Bleeding Cool, and they have this article posted, and I think, yes, of course, nothing has changed. Though I have not been making as many YouTube videos, this is still what we're looking at. So since now we've looked at this is mainstream comics for you, which I'll say I think the art's pretty good. What we're gonna do now is look over Indiegogo. I just have things pulled up, but I'm gonna look at some specific campaigns because these are cool creators, cool books, stuff that I'm interested in. So that's why I'm pulling it up. Arc Athena 2 of 6. Speaking of having books done ahead of time, this is a super example of that. Eric Canetti has launched Arc Athena #2, book 2. This launched yesterday, 2 days ago, something like that. It took me by surprise. I didn't realize that it had launched. I did back it because I backed the first one, did that box opening. It looked fantastic. Also, Eric Canetti is a really cool guy, great creator too. Look at that art, pretty great. Nice hand. Anyway, I posted this one. I'm looking at this one anyway because I think it's a good idea to back it. Looks good. Some really cool stuff in here. I once helped Eric Canetti out, and I think a small way. And he was really gracious, and he actually drew me a Hellboy sketch. And he will, at some point in time, he's going to send it to me. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Really cool stuff. Look at that ship. Holy crap. The other thing about this book is story-wise, I don't want to ruin anything for you, but in the first book, he takes the whole concept of the modern superhero and he flips it on its ear. It is not at all what I have seen anywhere in comics. It's very different, and I'm going to really lean into the modern superheroes because you start thinking about what is the landscape today. Like you can be timely about storytelling and not talk about the typical social issues that you should be talking about. You can actually talk about real social issues that are not political at all. They're just things people are thinking about, like social media and things like that. I know that sounds boring when I say it's social media, but it's really not. He does a fantastic job of it. So really cool book. I think I did get the artist edition for the first one, which was seriously amazing. So I went ahead and got the artist edition as well for the next one because I have to. Got to compare them. So super fun book. Book 1 was great. Book 2 is finished as far as I know, and it should ship out pretty quickly. So there's one. Tiger Blue. This one is by and from Retrographic Books. And this is Matt Fowler. Maybe you've seen him in the chat around. but he's a good dude, and I think he's one of those guys that gets under noticed. Um, yeah. I'm sorry, I have to highlight this comment. I just noticed Clint is unintentionally getting closer to actually looking like Mr. Potato Head with that chrome dome. I love it. I've I've actually gotten pretty used to it. I'm not that good to stay on top of shaving it, so it's like there is actually some peach fuzz here. You can see more in the back. But I've been pretty used to it, and it's only because I haven't been streaming. I love it. My work is done here. We'll see you, Rob. In Romania, Vlad Tave's third is a hero because he protected the religion of Wallachia. I can't pronounce anything from the threat of the Turks and the Ottomans. It's all about perspective, right? Um, very cool. All right, so yeah, Tiger Blue. Tiger Blue, I can't tell you much, but I can tell you that I know that there's more that's going to happen around this that's going to be seriously awesome. And again, not getting enough attention, not getting the attention that it should get. Um, he always does a great job of getting fantastic artists. I think that Matt Fowler is actually a fantastic writer. If you haven't read his stuff, I've read 2 or 3 of his stories, and they're every single one of them has been super entertaining, really solid writing. And again, he always hires really good artists. Like, look at that. That is a fantastic artwork. There's a bird of some kind getting its brain blown out through its mouth. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, so check that one out as well. I'm going to post the link. I didn't post the link on Eric Kennedy's, but I'll do that. Are you going to help me out, Roland? The T and the S. How do you do that? Tepesh Valakia. Tepes Valakia. That's as close as it's going to get for me. All right, Arcathena. I'm going to post this link as well. In case you were wondering, there are plenty of comics to be getting. Tiger Blue, we looked at that. Terror in the Trenches. Everyone should know about this. I think they already do, but it's worth mentioning again. Lon Klaus's Terror in the Trenches. Fantastic writer, fantastic artist. They're already a proven creative team that brought you Monster MD, bringing you now a superhero story, which has been fun to see because it's a superhero story that I think a lot of people have heard of. Black Terror. Maybe you have to be kind of into comics, though. If you're casually into comics, you're not going to know who Black Terror is, but really cool to see him taking a take on this. And it makes me think, I could do a public domain superhero. Technically, I did write a story for the Silver Streak. I was commissioned to write that story. It was super fun. But I would like to do, I don't know. I want to? I'm not sure, but it would be pretty fun to take a swing at doing a superhero however I wanted to. That could be kind of fun. All right, post that 2 copies of Terror. Can't get enough. Yep, there's Terror in the Trenches. Nosferatu by Narwhal, another vampire book. A few people came to me and were like, Clint, he's doing a vampire book. Are you worried? No. I'm actually really happy about this because I knew this was coming for a long time. Narwhal and I talked about this at least a year ago. I think it was over a year ago we started talking about it. Him knowing that I was going to do a Dracula story. And so we have a very short collaboration in each of our books. That's I don't know. I think it's pretty fun. I think it'll be fun for you to see. So yeah, Nosferatu, this is a retelling of the classic. We've seen a few of those in comic book format. I have already read this. I've read it before many people have. I read it a long time ago, and it was really fun story, fun read. Narwhal's one of those guys that, in my opinion, you got to read him incomplete. Like you don't read a page, you can, and I think his artwork and composition is good. But when you read it as a full story, it's something else. And so that's definitely what I'll say. So check that out as well if you haven't backed it already. It's a good one to check out. Super fun read again. So I will post a link there. Let's see, we have Dojo Kun comics here. I have more than 5 public domain supers set to make appearances in the Dojo Kun comics universe. That is cool. I am interested to see who those superheroes are. There's tons too. If you do a search, there's so many, and some of them are so ridiculous. It would be kind of fun to pick the most ridiculous. This would be like a good writing challenge. Like, I will give you a super ridiculous public domain character. You do the same to me, and we'll have to write stories with those characters, but make them serious. Like, take it completely seriously. That's cool. I can't wait to see what you do. Uh, Maybe you could help me with my throwback superhero stories. That's right. You are doing some throwback superhero stories. Maybe it depends on the timing. On and off, I've said I can't take on any writing work, but I did take on some writing work. So, I won't say no. That could be cool. I picked two. I picked several who are super obscure. That's always fun. Stoker's widow. Oh no, sued the producers. Oh, I thought you were talking about me. I was like, what? That's not good. Yeah, you're right. He sued the producers of Nosferatu for copyright infringement and loss, and said lawsuit is what brought the book out of obscurity. Interesting. Yeah. I actually wrote a little piece on that particular event. Again, I don't know if I maybe I've already said it. It's supposed to be in Nosferatu. So I wrote it a while ago, but it was about that event. So I hope that it makes it into Nosferatu because it was actually super fun to research and write. And that is exactly why I get a little bit nervous about doing a Dracula book, because people can sue you just because. It doesn't mean they have to win the lawsuit or that they have any leg to stand on. It just means that they make your life miserable. So they can do that, absolutely. Anyway, that does it for the live stream. Really appreciate you all for being here and for watching. I'm going to be doing regular videos. I know I keep saying that, but I thought today I just need to get live. So here I am. Anyway, just over 30 minutes. Really appreciate all of you for watching. If you haven't backed Fatal yet and you want to get in, let me post the link so you can get in. Know that we are working on it. Charlie's working very hard on it, and it will absolutely be worth the wait. But having said that, it's very close. I mean, we're close. What we need is for Charlie to be able to sit down for uninterrupted for 3 weeks with no other problems. I don't know if 3 weeks would do it or not, but anyway, so we're watching it, and really appreciate your patience on it. Oh man, arrived just on time. Yeah, yeah, I thought it was gonna be a small short stream. Hell Sweet Cast, thank you, really appreciate that. Dracula is the pre-launch is up, and I'll tell you, I'm going to make the pre-launch worth it. Let me post this link as well. I'm going to be doing what will probably be a foil card. I've got a few things I got to check out. I'm pretty certain, about 99% certain, it'll be a foil card. It'll be the Kelsey Shannon piece. That'll be a trading card. And I think I might make it a cover too, but you're not going to get that foil card unless you sign up to the pre-launch page. And I am not launching this book until the book is completely finished. And even then, I still might not launch it if for some reason Dracula is finished before Fatal, I still might not launch Dracula first. I might just let it sit there. Is that bad? I don't know. But I think it's probably what needs to be done. So, yeah. Anyway, sign up for the pre-launch page. It's going to be sick, and it's not going to be a long waiting time. I can tell you that. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you. I'll have more news coming next week. I'll be trickling out for some other things that not exactly comic book related, but could be pretty interesting to some of you. Anyway, appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.